The United Nations, the Joint Human Rights Office in particular, is extremely concerned at an increase in serious human rights violations committed against civilians by armed groups operating in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo, in particular in the southern part of the province of North Kivu. We've seen a spate of killings, burning of villages, attacks against civilians since the beginning of April, and the victims of these attacks have been primarily women and children. Our teams have documented serious human rights violations through attacks in at least 45 villages, very likely more. Some of these villages have been burned in their entirety. There have been thousands of civilians displaced due to the attacks, and our investigators have conducted dozens and dozens of interviews with victims, some of whom still bleeding, very recently attacked by one or another of the armed groups. Since the beginning of April, there have been a number of desertions, defections from the Congolese army, and the creation of an armed movement, a new one called the M23 in eastern Congo. With these defections and the creation of a new armed movement, the Congolese army, and to a great extent MONUSCO, military forces, have been displaced and have refocused their attention to try to contain the M23 armed movement. This has left a security vacuum in many parts of eastern Congo. What we're seeing in many of these provinces and remote areas are armed groups taking advantage of a security vacuum to expand their territory, seeking basically access to mines, to other economic resources, and in doing so, they're carrying out grave human rights violations, attacking civilians.